Alright, today we are going to be talking about OOP in Python, that is Object-Oriented Programming in Python. And this is the first class for Object-Oriented Programming in Python. And today we are going to actually be talking about classes and how to create a class in Python. In subsequent tutorials, we are going to see how to inherit a class and use the functions from that class. So let's just get started. So this tutorial is actually for you if you have some knowledge of object-oriented programming in other languages, let's say C# or maybe Java or C++. So if you have some basic knowledge of programming, then you'll be able to follow. So let's create an object, a class. Remember, a class is a blueprint used to create objects in Python or in programming languages. So to create a class, it's good you put the class in a new file. So I'm going to say file and create a new Python file. So the class I'm creating is also best practice to give the same name of the class as the name of the file. So let's create an employee class. So let's call it employee. Employee.py is a Python file. And now this time we are going to define the class. So these are employee class. So to create a class is also very simple. Remember, Python is really very easy. So simply say class and specify the name of your class. So at this point, you are ready to now add the class attributes. So if you press enter the first time, it indents it, meaning that every other thing that follows this line is the class attribute. If you know about classes, then you'll know that the first thing you need to create is a constructor. So what is a constructor? A constructor is an object or is a function in a class that you use to create an object of the class. So after creating this employee class and we want to create a new employee, an actual employee, we need a constructor. So creating an actual employee using this class is called instantiation. So we say to instantiate a new employee, we need a constructor. So let's see how all this is very easy in Python compared to other languages. So let's put this, remember there is a comment, so it is fine. I think this comment can actually go all the way. Okay, let's use this style of comment. So this. So I'll close it at the other side. Okay. So what we are going to do is to create the constructor. So just say def and give a space, double underscore init and double underscore. So this is what you do if you want to create a new constructor. So after double underscore init double underscore, then you open brackets and then inside you say self, right? And that is how to start to create a constructor. So at this point, you need to also indent. Now a constructor needs parameter. Let's say if you are creating a new employee, what do you really need to create this employee? So let's say to create a new employee, we'll need employee name, right? Good. And we'll need the department to assign him. Is he going to be in accounting department? Is it going to be in a purchasing department or IT department and stuff like that? Let's just say we also add his, let's say his address nationality. Yeah. So let's leave it at these 3 items just to keep it simple. So in creating the constructor, you continue by saying name self.name equal to name self dot department equal to department, more like exactly the same parameters you put in here. Remember, these are actually parameters. If you are creating a function, you give parameters that the function will use. But when you are creating an object of this when you are using this function to create something, or you are calling this function, you are passing what is called arguments. So this, when you are creating the function, you use parameters. just the same parameters, you call them arguments when you want to use this function. So dot nationality nationality equal to nationality. All right, so basically we've created a new function. So let's also just add something to this class, something a function that will print out this employee object. So let's create another function, def this time. But this time we are creating a normal function. If you are creating a constructor, we are using the init function. But if you are creating a normal function, you simply use the name of the function. So let's say show, let's just call it display. Display. All right. So what we want to display, we want to print out the employee object. So we can just say name. Okay, name, right? And then we say name. All right, so this I think is going to be self.name. All right, so then we continue. We want to also print out his department. So let's say let's say department on nationality, and let's just say plus self dot nationality. So we have a class that we have already created, and this class is okay. And for us to use a class, we need to actually instantiate this class. We need to call this class from somewhere and then create an object of this class. So I'm going to add another file. This file is like the main method or the main file of our program. So this actually employee.py is just a class that we want to use. So let me just go to file and just say new, and it's going to be a Python file. So let's just call it main file. Okay, so at this time we want to use our employee class. So for us to use this employee class, we are going to import it. So we just say import. We will say from employee imports employee. Now these are two different things. The first employee used here is actually the name of the file. So from employee.py, so this is the first employee, import the employee class, right? Good. So let's go ahead to create a new employee. So to do that, you simply say employee, and then you pass in arguments to it. So let's say kindson. Okay, so the next thing is the department. Let's say computer science. Okay, and the next thing is nationality. All right, so we've created an employee type. So what we did here, we call it, in programming terms, we call it instantiates a new employee. So this is actual employee, or an example, an instance of an employee, right? So let's go ahead to call the function to print this employee. I think we can say let's assign this employee to M1 equal to right. So M1 represents an actual employee. So let's say M1 dot display. All right. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to run it, and let's see if it's going to display this employee data out to us. So now, okay, so it's running something else. So I'm going to remove it. So all right, so let's see. I'm going to click here. Okay, good. So I actually should click on this one to execute the main file. So if you look at the output here, you can see the file being executed now is a main file. It's saying name Kainton Munoye and nationality Nigerian. So it's actually creating this employee object and calling the display method of the employee object. So this is how to create a class in Python. So simply create a new file with the same name as your class. Create the constructor of the class. So the constructor is def space double underscore init double underscore. Then you specify in braces self, and then you specify the attributes of this class you are creating, unless you may have to create any function you think you'll need in the class. Then in your main program, you simply assign this employee to a employee variable and specify the attribute. And these attributes you specify here, they are called arguments. So when you are creating it, you have these are parameters, and then when you want to use this class you are using, we call it arguments. So this is basically how to use classes in Python, and in our next tutorial we can now see, maybe we can look at one or two more examples, and then we see how we can create a subclass of this employee object that we've created. I'd like to thank you for viewing. I hope this has been informative for you. If so, please click on subscribe button to subscribe to my channel so that you get updates when I make new lessons. And I'd like to stop here for now. We'll see you in the next part.